Week 1 is about to kick off, so here are my fantasy football rankings for this week. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. We're going to do these videos a little bit different. I know a lot of people love these weekly ranking videos. This year, I'm going to keep them a little more shorter, a little more informal, but you can go check out the updated rankings on my website anytime you want for the complete list, fantasycouch.com/rankings. And on top of that, we'll also do something a little more different. We'll be doing a bold prediction of the week, so it'll be a little bit more fun. And also, look, if you got a start or sit-em question, ask it in the YouTube comments down below. I read every single comment. I try to answer every single question. I love when you guys comment and ask questions. And of course, if you're on my Patreon, I will 100% answer those questions and get back to you in a timely manner there. Appreciate everyone who comments. Appreciate everyone who is on my Patreon. Let's go on to the rankings. So right before I hit record, a lot of news is coming out. Rondale Moore got hurt today in practice. Zach Ertz didn't practice. Could be alarming with this calf injury, or could be a rest day. We don't know yet. Probably more information tomorrow. Today, I'm recording this is Thursday. Tomorrow will be Friday. George Kittle's groin injury looks pretty bad as well, so we'll keep tabs on that. So my bold prediction of the week, I'll still stick to it, but I'll have two bold predictions because I had to do it with the Arizona Cardinals. Now I don't know what to think. So the first bold prediction of the week, brought to you by Sleeper, is Hollywood Brown finishing as a top 6 wide receiver this week. Highest scoring game of the slate, and Hollywood Brown's going to get a ton of targets. He's got that connection with Kyler Murray. He just needs to get in the end zone 2 times for this to happen. Chiefs defense is okay, not great. Maybe it's bad. It's definitely not good. They're going up against the Chiefs right here at week 1 in a shootout. I don't know what's going to happen now. Like, I didn't really have time to process this because the news is breaking right when I hit record. So maybe they blanket Hollywood Brown. I think I'd put a safety over the top just to cover him on the deep routes. And when Kyler Murray scrambles, like, just dedicated to watching and covering Hollywood Brown. But we'll see what happens. I'm still starting him week 1. The targets will be there. I mean, if you drafted Hollywood Brown, you kind of got to start him. Or otherwise, why would you have drafted him? You're going to, like, not start him when Hopkins is suspended the first 6 games? Makes no sense. All right, but I got a second bold prediction for you guys, and that's Travis Etienne is going to have a good game. That's the bold prediction. Okay, I think he's going to get 11 receptions this game. Playing from behind a little bit in Washington, and I know James Robinson is back, and the coach is saying, I think he's 100% back, but I don't think Achilles works like that. I don't think he'll be 100% back now. Maybe in December, he'll be closer to 100%, but right now, I don't think so. Let me take a sip of juice. Travis Etienne, bold prediction, 11 receptions week 1. Let's go back to the quarterbacks, baby. All right, so these are my quarterback rankings. Week 1, I want to keep it simple when I'm deciding who to start, who to sit. I don't want to start Trey Lance if I don't have to. I want to see how he does. I don't want to start these risky guys too much. I want to stick to the basics. Keep it stupid simple. Don't do anything crazy. So these are my quarterback rankings. And, well, this game kicks off in a little bit right here. Bills-Rams, everybody. And here are my running back rankings. Oh, what do people say? People say scroll down. That's like the #1 comment I get the most. All right, I'll scroll down just for you. I'll scroll down a little bit more right here. All right, there we go. I went up to Joe Flacco. I think that's satisfactory. We see little Joe Flacco action. All right, now we'll move on to running backs. So my #1 running back is Christian McCaffrey. These are full PPR rankings. He should get a lot of catches. I mean, is there really much more analysis there? The reason we drafted JT is not because he's going to be the best fantasy football player, but he's the safest. I think it won't ruin our drafts. You get a scarce, valuable player that's durable, and probably won't screw up your entire fantasy football season and ruin your mood for 4 months. So that's why we drafted JT number 1 overall. All right, we'll scroll down as to satisfy the comments, the viewers. Here we go. All right, that's right. I am starting Travis Etienne in full PPR. I am doing it. Trust me, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start him. I'm starting him in every league that I have him. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. And yeah, I got Hollywood Brown ranked 13. Like I said, it's a bold prediction. I want to kind of not do too much with my rankings, but yeah, I think he will finish right around here, 5, 6, 7, hopefully. And then I will look really cool if that does happen. I was a little bit lower on Chase than the consensus, right? I think he's going to be pretty inconsistent. He's going to be the new Tyreek Hill. But this week, I have a good amount of confidence in starting guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I think the Bengals beat the Steelers, and I think they beat them through the air. I think Joe Burrow is going to be absolute stud this year. So start Higgins with confidence. Start Jamar Chase with confidence. And it looks like I got Higgins ranked at 15. I mean, that's kind of low. I mean, to me, he's a must start. You know, it can easily go above Terry McLaurin here. You know, maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. And even though I love Courtland Sutton, he's one of my biggest wide receivers that I targeted every year, every draft. I just want to temper expectations for week 1. Let's keep it simple. We haven't seen Russell Wilson throw to Courtland Sutton in a game that counts yet. So like I said, that's the thing. We're keeping it stupid simple. We're keeping it basic week 1. Let your opponent make the mistakes. Remember, your goal is not to start the players that will score the most fantasy points. I know that seems like the goal, and it is a goal. Your actually number 1 goal is to beat your opponent. Remember that. Your number 1 goal, beat your head-to-head matchup opponent. Number 2 goal, start the players that score the most points. So, theoretically, if your opponent is screwing up and you start the safest players, you'll win. Remember that. I know it sounds dumb to a lot of you, but those are just facts. You want to beat your opponent. Your opponent will make mistakes. Capitalize on that. That's your goal. Beat your matchup this week. Let your opponent beat him or herself while you get the dub. All right. Yeah, I love Darnell Mooney. He's a good start this week in PPR, but the Bears they're not gonna score a lot of touchdowns, okay? And this game, there's gonna be very few touchdowns for the Bears. Maybe the entire game against the Niners, but definitely for the Bears this week and for most weeks, touchdowns are not gonna be coming early and often for this Bears offense. All right, scroll. Next up, tight ends. Got some more news breaking? No more news. Thank you. No more news. Don't have the news. I don't want to see any more bad news, guys. Come on. Come on, please. No more bad news. No more injury news. I can't take it. This preseason has relatively been injury-free as far as fantasy goes, at least, right? There's been actually more positive news. Every year we're always, there's so many injuries. What's happening this year? And this year we haven't seen that, at least from a fantasy impact standpoint. It's been relatively clean. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll have a more healthy NFL season this year. But it's already looking dim this past week with Zach Ertz and Kittle and all that. All right, so Zach Ertz, I got ranked at 9. And, I mean, if he was fully healthy, I would have him ranked right here at 5. But I'm worried. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen with Zach Ertz. So I'll just throw him here for now, I guess, at number 9. He might not play. He might be limited. We do not know yet. So these are my tight end rankings. That pretty much should take care of it. We don't need to scroll too much more. All right. Ooh, we got a little sleeper action here. Isaiah Likely, baby. I know some people like that. Defense rankings, my number one defense is going to be the Niners. They're going to murder the Bears. It's not even going to be funny. I always said the Broncos and Eagles are great streaming options. You could get them in the last round of drafts. You can get them off free agency. So love those two. I'm not a big believer in the Titans, but they're still a good streaming option. A lot of people prefer the Browns. I'm a little hesitant. I'm not a big believer in Jacoby Brissett, and I think he will affect the defense. He will put the defense in unfavorable situations and downs, and that's why I'm not huge on the Browns. Don't get me wrong, Browns are a solid defense to have this week, maybe the next 4 weeks even. I just prefer other defenses, and especially with defenses and kickers. A lot of you do this already with defenses, but I don't think of the future. I just try to win this week. Remember, number one goal, beat your opponent. And with defenses, I'm not thinking in the future. I'm not thinking ahead too much. Sometimes in deeper formats with deeper benches, I might stash a second defense every now and then. It's not really recommended, but I have done that last year. And so I'm thinking ahead, right? I'm going to drop this defense, and in 2-3 weeks, I'm going to start that defense. So I've done that. But overall, I'm streaming defenses just to win this week. I do look into the future, but it's such a tiny factor for me. Just concentrate on getting a W this week. A W is so important. Remember, we got only 14 weeks in a fantasy season and then playoffs start. So one W is very important. And often a lot of teams make or break it with just one win, right? You get 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. And that's going to make the difference of you making playoffs. It's literally everything, okay? Very important. So stream defenses. Don't think too much ahead in the future. I'd rather get the Eagles D and start them this week than have the Browns D and feel a little bit more comfortable. Because there's another thing, guys. We don't know how any player is going to turn out. All these projections and rankings get flipped upside down. They look crazy. But especially with defenses. It's like one of the toughest positions to predict in fantasy football year to year. A lot easier to predict week to week, right? Play the matchups, stream, that's a lot easier. But to know who's going to be the best defense, that's impossible, right? What was it last year? A lot of people drafted like the Bucs D, number 1 overall. But who finished number 1 overall? The unsuspecting Dallas Cowboys. Every year, it's the same story, guys. So that's why I go nearsighted. Don't look too much into the future. And of course, I think it's a theme. For some reason, I'm passionate about defenses and kickers. Maybe it's because that's what gives us the edge, right? You don't know what tight end's going to go off, but hey, man, if we're getting a free defense and free kicker and have an advantage over our opponent, hey, that helps us win. Number one goal, beat your freaking opponent. And kickers, same thing, man. I don't care about the future. I'm trying to win this week. And there's plenty of kickers that are going to be great this week. So some of the kickers that I like, I'm not going to go over like all these guys, but actually Harrison Butker, let's put him in a different category. He's great this week, playing in a dome, I believe, right? Cardinals playing a dome, right? So it's playing in a dome, or no bad weather conditions. Anyway, no like crazy. There's really not too many crazy weather conditions. I think Chicago, maybe a little rain, maybe a little wind. Not really anything to worry about this week. Not in early September. But anyway, Harrison Butker is great this week. He'll be elite this week, and he'll be great the rest of the season. So that's great. That's comfortable. Sometimes you can get him in the last round of your draft. So if you got him essentially for free, that's great. If you didn't, think week to week. Will Lutz should be elite this week. Rodrigo Blankenship should be elite this week. Brandon McManus, I really like him this week. So you can get one of these 3 guys. Chances are they're available in your league. And if you're in a deeper format, maybe go for Jake Elliott. I like Robbie Gould. You'll be fine. You'll be able to get one of these guys. I'm telling you, don't worry about it. Trust me when it comes to kickers. I got your back. You can stream them. Don't do anything silly. And I got a couple people that hated my videos when I was saying to wait on a kicker, this and that. I mean, it's a minority, but I just want to address one thing I haven't talked about in a couple years. is when you do reach for a kicker, when you are that guy in your league that drafts Justin Tucker in round 9, 10, or 11, what are you going to do when he's on bye, right? This is a trickle effect. You're going to keep him. You're going to miss out on Elijah Mitchell. You're going to miss out on Cordell Patterson, that waiver gem. You're going to roster 2 kickers. Me, I never rostered 2 kickers, baby. That's what I'm doing. I'm not rostering 2 kickers. I'm not doing that. It's a trickle-down effect. It's going to snowball, right? When we stream, we don't care. I drop a kicker like it's nothing. I don't even put in a claim for a kicker. I get him a free agency, $0 bid or free agency. I don't put in a claim. I don't spend any FAB. We're good, man. We're good on kickers. I like having kickers in fantasy. The Couch fam loves having kickers in fantasy because it gives us the edge. Anything to beat your opponent. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to our second channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Good luck this week. Go get that W. Don't do anything silly. Don't do anything cute. Just win, baby. All right, guys. See you on the next one.